is the question. But right now, just you and me, and you should up just in time for me to go live. And yeah, we are live.
Whoops.
I think, unless we aren't.
Just you and me.
Just yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we've not
God.
heard anything from Brian or Lulu yet. Even though I, put the word out that we ready to roll
God, I'm so stoned.
a half hour ago. Oh, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be a great show right here. It's the Gators and Stone show right here, and all you have to do is stand within 6 feet of Venison, and you too will get infected with his stoneness. And there you go. So
Wasn't even that much.
So in this corner we have me. Over there we have a black spot where Lulu usually is. Down there we have an empty disco ball with no Brian, and below me we have the stationary picture that represents the stoned Venison.
You know, I kind of look like it too.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
you kind of got that permanent
I wonder if I
stone
was that
look.
day.
Oh.
Well, hey, it all started since I was 20.
Anyways,
20 on up, stoned.
Anyways, oh, you know what? I realize I haven't come up with an updated title for this week's show yet. So the show is still called UPS has got me by the nuts. So I got to come up with a clever name for this week's show, and I got to go update the title with it. So you can get a little peek behind the curtain here with the whole.
Yeah, clever names for today's
So
show.
what was the
This one
main
would be
topic for
good.
this week?
The topic for this week, well, you're here. So I think the topic for this week is where are all the white women at? I think that's the
Why? Why?
because Lulu's missing. I don't know. That's just what
she represents all.
on this show
Oh,
she
wait,
represents
he's here.
all the white. I don't know. That's what
He's
popped.
actually here.
That's what popped into my head. That because my head works like that. I don't know what the show topic is, but right now the show topic is let's get Brian's camera working, so that we can see.
Camera work.
Well,
Oh.
on the stream, your camera's working on my computer, but I got to capture it on my OBS
Right.
window so that everyone else can see you. Because right now they just see an empty disco ball where you normally would sit.
Go with the disco ball again.
Just the empty. Well, we could talk about that. So there we go. There you are in front of the disco ball.
At least it's not sticking in front of you, in front of your ears.
Okay.
Okay,
So are we live yet?
we are we were live before you joined.
Aha. Hello, everybody.
Hello. So we got to come up with we got to come up with the title for this week's show, and that's kind of because right now I realize, oh shit, it still
Good
says
luck with
UPS
that.
has got me by the nuts. You know what I'm gonna make the title of this week's show? I'm gonna make it in the form of a question. What should we put behind Brian? Question mark. Update all. And it's pushed that out. So now you could all write in
Top with a can of mace.
with your suggestions of what we should put behind Brian.
A cop with a can of mace.
Oh, by the way, I have this fun little game I play every Sunday. Every Sunday I play a game of what could I use as opening music for the Dune and Bob show, because every Sunday Dune does the opening and there's a big explosion, and then I hit go on the turntable and we groove out to a tune on the turntable. And I don't think anyone noticed that yesterday I picked for the opening song 10cc's first hit, Rubber Bullets. So
Whoa.
kind of right over. And I wasn't going to point it out to everyone.
Good one.
Yeah. I decided.
Was Dune aware of it?
No,
That's messed up.
No, he was not. He was not familiar. The only thing I said was, "This is 10cc," and he goes, "10cc, the same band that does the thing we do for love." I'm like, "Yeah, that's the band. It's their first hit." Oh, cool. And then we continued talking as the refrain, "Watch out, watch out, watch out for rubber bullets." I'm like wondering, is he going to hear that?
I love to be subtle, right?
Yeah. It is a great song, though, and I would play it right now, but apparently there's a DMC apocalypse going on. So, as a matter of fact, I think we're even going to change the opening theme tune from now on. I you know what? This is probably licensed somewhere, but Shazam has no clue what the hell this is. So this is our new theme song now.
I've heard it before.
I got to admit,
I've
Johnny,
played it before.
You're essentially a musician. Why don't you have your own little ditty? You got a keyboard. You can do all this shit yourself.
You know, I only wrote one real piece of music, and
it doesn't even have to be written. It could be just plunking on a keyboard with a few chord changes.
I found this in a.
How hard is most rock and roll? It's typically 3 notes. And some that are even just 2 notes, essentially.
Yeah, well, I'm more of a listener type of musician than a, actual type of musician.
Well, to me, if a DJ can be considered a musician, well, then you're a musician.
Yeah, well.
Right? I mean, if you had your ideal job, what would it be?
It'd be mixing
in a studio mixing tracks.
Someone else's music.
So you throw together some tracks. That's not hard, and mix them.
Anyways, I'm
just saying, man. I'm just saying. You could do your own thing. You could even say, well, that's copyrighted by me.
Well, yeah, but we completely missed the opening.
Today you didn't even have to actually register that, right?
Anyways, the point is, though, you're tuned into
Insert title here.
The show that changes names and opening theme songs so frequently, we put placeholders in. And
we want to really improve this show, but we're just too lazy to do it.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're amateurs. We're not professionals.
Yeah. I tried. You know what? I tried to make our own theme song once, kind of. Because, what happened was Damon got an email one day. Oh, what? You raising the roof?
No, there's an empty square above me.
Yes, there is. That's the Lulu Square.
Yes. Should we put in a placeholder? Your face here.
Your face.
Quick, throw up together a little screen and put your face here. Right? I mean.
All right. You really want me to put something there? I'll find something to put there. Let's see. I used to have a picture of Lulu.
We stayed.
Try not to be offensive. This friend of mine on Facebook, who's very conservative, was offended by some T-shirt on Amazon, and they're not going to buy from them anymore.
Amazon.
The first line of it was Black Lives Matter. The second line was offensive.
Oh, okay.
If I could actually remember the exact words, I would say, "Hey, I'm offended too." But guess what? I don't really care.
Yeah.
That's gonna not make me to boycott, because boycotts of outfits are perfectly worthless.
I'd be offended if I cared. Is the line you're looking for there? That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, my average in a 6-month period, number of orders in 6 months is about 500. But of course, since we can't go out shopping, now I'm not 500, 50 in a 6-month period. But now, because we can't go anywhere, I just checked it, and it's bumped up to 70. Hey, there's a face.
There's a face. That's Lulu.
That an old picture?
I guess so. I don't know. I got it from her Facebook when I needed a picture because I use
Okay.
that was the Lulu placeholder that I had already saved.
Now, is that picture actually copyrighted by Facebook now because they're assholes and everybody's offended?
Oh, it'll never hold up in court.
Brian, you are weird.
Yeah, but everybody
What?
knows that because they're watching this show.
Why do you think I invited him to the show, Venison?
Okay, so Venison, let's get your take on this show, and what should we do, or just kind of pretend like we would do?
What can we do on this show? Well, you know me. I'm a big fan of randomness. So
that's why you've stuck it out all these years.
Yeah. Because shit just happens and you flow with it. But we'll see what happens here.
I think,
and apparently, and I'm not sure, was there an article some months ago that Amazon stopped selling Confederate flags? They were offensive. Or do we want to even go in that direction?
I would like to talk about that. I would like to say something about that without it devolving into anything. And I'd also wish that we could say things about it without chasing people away. Because I think there are things that are reasonable to say. And, I mean, the Confederate flag is a great example of a complicated issue that maybe we could all chill and figure something out.
Oh, sure. Sure. But people won't change their mind on it. One way
Good
or
luck
the
with
other.
that.
Because now here's the thing, is that growing up as a kid, the Confederate flag was something that you saw in places at times. You knew it existed, and you never thought of that as a offensive symbol of anything. And it came to mean.
Well, but in the northern states, they wouldn't fly it.
Oh, right? I've seen it flown in the northern states.
Really? No, I never have.
I have.
Really?
I have, yeah.
Now, I went to dinner with some relatives. This is probably back in the 80s. We were at a restaurant, and they were dressed like bikers, but they were wearing a Nazi type of regalia.
Okay, and that's offensive.
Mostly kind of like battle stuff kind of things.
Nowadays.
And this one older relative wanted to go beat these guys up, whether she could actually do it or not. Go.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah,
I was in a restaurant in Houston, and a fella came in. This was Hitler's birthday, wearing an outfit that didn't look wearing a brown shirt. Now, the guy I was at the table with had his back to this jerk, and I watched another customer come up and just tip his glass of water over.
Okay.
Didn't want to get too far with it, but he knocked the glass over. And then the manager came out and asked the guy to leave. And after that happened, I told the guy I was with, it was his coworker, about the incident that I was watching. He said, actually, I'm glad I didn't see that because I would have done something worse.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, what I was going to
it's just where you kind of bite your lip and just kind of let it go.
Well, yeah, this is kind of not the territory I really wanted to start diving down.
And what does it have to do with the disco ball? I do not know.
I don't know, but
Venison, I'm sure, has an idea that...
I'm going to say one thing for this.
Yes.
As far as Nazis go, no, come on, man. Remember, people, remember USA, remember America. We hated Nazis because of what they did. They killed millions of people. A lot of them innocent.
Absolutely.
We hated them. So why Why
Sorry,
are you
I'll back
still supporting them? Why do you still go out there, hear about these Nazi militias, and then go to their side? What the fuck is wrong with you people?
And here's the thing, and I'm with you on this. So you see guys flying a Confederate flag or a Nazi flag with the swastika, and you kind of go, dude, so you're for the losers,
Well, there is.
right?
Well, here's the thing, though. Nazi flag, Confederate flag, two very different things.
Of course.
I mean, I can't think of any good reason or excuse or anything to, do anything associating with Nazis. I mean, that's pretty easy bipartisan agreement topic there. Nazis bad. Unless you want to dance around
Apparently
it.
not.
Unless you want to dance around it for poll ratings, but that's not what we're here to talk about. The Confederate flag, the argument is that it's more of a Southern pride thing, taking pride in certain parts of your history that's not intended or meant to be racist. But there is a lot of racist history attached to it. I mean, as it is, it really became more of a popular symbol in the era of the fight for equality era of things as a backlash. But I think a lot of people are not always aware of all the histories and all those things, and they just think it's Southern pride. I like
Absolutely.
it. Get over it. So it's, what's funny is my dad had a brief take on it, coming from a completely different angle.
Sure.
You're familiar with the movie Smokey and the Bandit?
Yeah.
Yeah. And now the bandit, he was driving a Trans Am, which I believe had Georgia plate on it. And Georgia's one of those states that only gives you one plate, so you put like some kind of a placeholder or fill in on the front. And in the movie Smokey and the Bandit, it was a Confederate flag plate that was on the front of the car. So it's a very common thing for Trans Am owners, especially of Trans Ams of that type or that year, to, especially in the South, to put a Confederate flag plate on the front because that's how it was. And
Right.
And for my dad, it was a normal thing to see at least a few cars like that at the car shows. And now, it's an issue. And it kind of
Right.
makes my dad go, "What's why that's just the way it's been. That's just the way it's always been." And it's like, yeah,
Well,
but
there's another reason
and
for
of course,
that.
the Dukes of Hazzard had the General Lee
right,
that had the Confederate flag on the roof. And they have done some replicas recently where they're replicating the General Lee, but they put American flag on the top instead.
Now, yeah, there's a lot of commercial things that got the Confederate flag on it. Yeah, it's a popular thing. But forgetting the underlying thought with all this, especially back in the days when this happened. Basically, the southern states left the United States. So pretty much they were called traitors.
Yeah.
That's all.
yeah. Now,
Yeah.
Of course, the thing we're forgetting is that Chris Rock already came up with the perfect compromise for this years ago, and I don't know why, how we so quickly forgot this. And it was quite simple. He took the Confederate flag, and replaced the stars of the Confederate flag with the stars of the WB, with a big smiling Steve Harvey right in the middle. And it was everyone liked it. No one complained, and they flew it on top of the South Carolina Capitol building, and racism was solved forever. So why can't we just go back to that?
Yeah,
Rock did
I
that.
don't recall that.
You don't
that
remember
thing.
I
that?
don't
Sean
either.
did. I do recall frequently the other solution for racism, and that is get a white friend and other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Like
know
a,
why they forgot Chris Rock's thing? Because he was black.
Well, no, even on
I
so-
I can't recall that I ever saw that, so
no, it was
I can't attest to that.
it was well, what it was is here. I'm putting the image up, and we'll just throw it up there in Lulu's corner for now, and size that. So you go ahead and watch that, and right there you see it. Well, basically,
Oh, that is just too strange.
basically, when
Are you seeing that venison?
Never. Never even heard
No,
of
are
it.
you seeing that on the YouTube or the...
yeah,
I'm not seeing it yet. It had to come on Twitch.
it was.
Big delay.
What happened was it was a news story because the South Carolina State Capitol building was flying a Confederate flag next to the United States flag up on top of the building, and it was the type
Sure.
of thing that the people in charge, they didn't care, they're all cool with it, but then some people kind of were like, hey, wait a minute, maybe that's not so cool, and it became something of a news topic. And so Chris Rock saw a great opportunity for comedic gold, and he took it to the streets. And his idea was, why don't we come up with a compromise where we'll let you all have your Confederate flag, but maybe we should all have a flag too. And so he had a few suggestions what the black representation flag should be to accommodate or to complement the Confederate flag. And so another one of his great ideas was to put a flag in the same style that said Malcolm on top of the Confederate flag, so it would then become Malcolm X.
Oh.
But but the white people didn't go for that one. And then he had the
Of
idea.
course not.
He had the idea of just putting a plain blue flag with a big saltine cracker on it, just to kind of let you know where you were at.
Whoa.
But the white people didn't go for that one either. But
you think?
but this flag with the stars of the WB replacing the stars of the Confederacy, everyone hands down said, I like that. That's clever. All the white people liked it, all the black people liked it, and they actually flew the flag up on top of the Capitol building at the end of the bit.
Nope, not all the white people liked it. The KKK had a shit fit.
Yeah. Well, nobody asked
all
them.
Those all those WSs down there in South Carolina were sitting there having a shit fit.
Well,
That's funny.
Well, there were some great bits on the Chris Rock show. Like there was Chris Rock pointed out that
There's always.
like Chris Rock pointed out, every city has a Martin Luther King Boulevard, and this isn't a great tribute because wherever you are, if you're on Martin Luther King Boulevard, you generally want to get out of that area. So
Yeah, well, if you're white, yeah.
So he thought it might be better to go to like a white neighborhood and see if we can get like a petition. And so he went around this beach area type area. It was like, hey, we got a petition here to rename Beach Bay Boulevard to Tupac Shakur Boulevard, and he tried to get people to sign the petition. That was a great funny. I gotta. Chris Rock was funny.
Oh yeah.
Let's take a.
It's edgy,
no.
edgy, totally edgy.
Oh, no,
Which of
this
course
was
is
bad.
not the direction that we wanted to go, right?
I don't know. I'm wondering.
No.
I'm wondering
No,
if I'm
this
keeping
is
the
bad.
artwork up too long. I wonder if I'm going to get banned from Twitch for displaying a Confederate flag, even though it does have the stars of the WB on it.
Right.
So I think I'm going to take our flag down. To
Oh God, I can't. Oh, that's it. That's the name of it. I think it was in Kentucky Fried Movie. You know, oh God, either that or Groove Tube, one of the two. But they had a scene in there I thought was hilarious. Just because they had this Daredevil guy, was suited up with helmet, uniform, the whole thing, and got into the limo to go to his destination. And he got there. and he got out of the car. You know, it turned out to be one of the worst ghettos you could ever imagine. And he walked up to these guys. You know, we're playing craps in the street and all. Small crowd of them. And went up there and stood in the center, you know, of the circle. And then yelled, yeah, the N-word. Real good and loud. And then ran.
That's...
And everybody's chasing him. Yeah, he was a daredevil. You know, to go through the life-threatening situation.
It was a daredevil doing something life-threatening, and
Yep.
and you laughed at it.
Yeah, I did.
Mostly because you knew he got his ass kicked.
if they caught him.
Anyways.
You know, be like my dead dog Rover. One leg is missing, the other is gone.
Yeah. Anyways, so we've got no chat participation, but it looks like Lulu is on her way. So we'll have to capture Lulu Cam in a moment here. But oh, hello, Lulu.
Hi.
How's it going?
Yes, I am.
Great.
All right, great. Let me grab your video. Oh, yeah, we're gonna get the cam going.
I'm pointing upwards since you're up there.
He's pointing to
You
the.
would have to do this, Lulu.
He's pointing to the spot where your still picture is while I'm setting up your camera over there. Yeah. And we still have the disco
Why
ball
is
behind
this
him.
cat staring at me?
Right. So you could go like this to me.
Once I get the cab captured.
Yes.
But there we go. We'll do that, and we'll do that, and now we're all here.
I have to adjust this motherfucker. I had it right, but
I was just going to say, hey, Lulu, how are you? I saw
doing
this
all right.
post from earlier today, and I go, what the hell?
oh, dude, I have beautiful people in my life.
I guess. I don't know if you
helps.
saw that, Jonathan, but she goes, kill me.
Well, no, I'm just wondering which time that she tweeted that you're referring to. No.
Oh,
no.
Today, right?
You
Or
know
was
what?
that yesterday?
It's funny. Speaking of Lulu and social media, it reminds me of an awkward situation one morning, and I don't know if you ever caught this or knew this, Lulu, but this was during that brief
Only
window
one?
of time when before you rejoined the show, so we weren't exactly in regular contact. And
Yeah.
you posted something on Facebook that was controversial that I didn't necessarily 100% agree with. I didn't necessarily 100% disagree with it, but it was the type of post that made me go, well, I'm not touching that with a 20-foot pole. And as I went to scroll the thing up, my finger hit the like button, and then my phone crashed. And
Oh no!
and then instead of
No!
unliking it, opened up a comment window and then typed in a bunch of gibberish and then posted it. And then and so I had to restart my phone. It took me like 5-10 minutes to get the phone restarted, get the app back up, delete the comment, unlike the post, and hope no one ever saw it. You know, so I don't know if you ever noticed that. I don't remember
No.
what it was. I don't remember what it was, but
No, I don't remember
So
this.
this was on Twitter?
no, I was on Facebook.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You can delete
I
stuff
did
on
not remember
Facebook
this.
and they kind of go away forever.
You-
Whereas Twitter, even if you delete something, it's not really gone.
Yeah. No. If someone had a chance to screen capture it, it's.
Right.
Wow.
But yeah, that was. I was having a bad morning that morning. Like, no, I don't want to like that. You know,
What are you
No,
looking
my-
at me for?
My two tweets for today was, never been in a group where that one cunt has to do just about every fucking task they can, all the while being a fake-ass pity bitch who tries to be passive-aggressive Jesus freak, yeah, that closet freak cum dumpster can go fuck herself with the wide end of a tennis racket.
Yeah, I like that one too.
And then I post, I have a live lols cow enter my life. Oh my
What
fucking
is
god.
that? What is
A lols
that?
cow?
Yeah.
A lulz cow. I'm not familiar with this one.
Okay, let me type in lols cow so we can get an actual definition.
Yeah.
Okay, Urban Dictionary lols cow.
Okay.
Someone who gets offended easily on the internet, providing epic lulls to the people who annoyed said lols cow in the first place. Feeling of endless cycle of lulls. Winston, hey, did you see that YouTube video of that 12-year-old who screamed, "I'm not a homo"? That's basically a lulz.
Okay.
So, I have a live lulz cow enter my life. Oh my fucking god, someone kill me. Bitch be coming onto my property thinking she can run her mouth and start shit. Oh girl, you don't know who you be playing with in this here home of crazies. Basically, my uncle, who hasn't removed his goddamn camper from my property, has decided to get a caretaker. This caretaker is a ratchet fucking cum dumpster of a bitch who moved from Florida to Klamath to Brookings, who looks like she's done meth a couple of times due to her crooked ratchet teeth, and tries to get into the middle of the conversation that he and I were having about him moving his fucking RV off my goddamn property.
Is this the RV that you were using before?
No, this is my aunt's RV that she decided to dump on us, then moved to Indiana and forgot about the whole family.
So who has the title for that?
The people who they were paying, the company that they were paying has...
Oh, so this was like a rental?
No. This is a... they were buying the motorhome from them company.
Oh, so this was a purchased
mortgage,
either leased or even a purchase deal where there's a loan involved.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
And he keeps frauding them, telling them, yeah, I'll make payments to you, such and such, because his car's also involved in this, and he doesn't want to remove it from our property because it has expired tags from Oregon.
Well,
you know how to fix that wagon.
So I finally got on his ass and say, you need to remove this from my fucking property.
To the owners?
No, from him.
Or to the relatives?
To the relatives. I said to him,
so here's
you need to remove this from my fucking property.
Anything, you call the actual owners that hold the title and says, oh, by the way, understand that there may be something due on this. If you want to repossess it, I know where it is.
We've done that before, and they said, because of the COVID, we can't do anything.
Oh.
So now, yeah. So now, because I told him, my mom's told him, he has to get this off his fucking property. Both homeowners have told him to get it off his fucking, get it off the fucking property. If he doesn't, I'll take the rest of my fucking cash that I have and tow it off myself.
Just kind of release the brake, let it roll gently off. That I guess the trailer doesn't work like that.
How large is this trailer?
It's a 32-foot.
Oh, so it's pretty good size. So you need to have a good size pickup truck or whatever. Tow it off.
It's a drivable RV.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I thought you said.
Oh yeah, just release the brake and let it roll gently to.
Right.
Freedom.
It's in front of my fucking trees. I'm not gonna have this thing.
I'm just gonna
crash
steer
into
it the
my
right
trees
direction.
And start a fire.
Oh, that's true. Oh, that sucks. Well, you'll have to keep us
so
posted.
just keep the phone number ready for the guy that owns it. Says, okay, now you could actually pick it up. By the way, it does have expired tags on it. That way they can just come and pick it up. You don't need to have contact with him. You just say, here, there it
He
is.
comes over every couple of days and says, "Oh, I'll do it this next week. I'll do it next week." Well, you know what,
so
motherfucker?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tow it. They can pick it up in a tow yard.
Oh, sure.
Cause I'm done.
I mean, after all, they do own it, so.
So, OX64 right again. Woo! I took a chance and tuned in. So far, nothing extremely scary.
Well,
It is early.
Maybe, because I got a problem here.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
I got a bit of strangeness. This cat, about 10 minutes ago, was sitting there, walking to the sidewalk and stopped. I got my front door open, which means it's got to go past the kitchen, and stopped and started staring at me.
Okay.
I was thinking, well, whatever. But then 5 minutes later, he sat down. He's still staring at me. And I was like, what the
So
fuck
this
is going
strange
on?
cat from the neighborhood is just sitting there in your house?
Yes, a stray.
Do you have
And-
anything to give him? Maybe
Yeah.
he just was hungry.
No.
Sounds like you got yourself a cat there, Venison.
And then he started lying down and did the same thing, lying down.
Congratulations,
He's just
you own a
staring
cat.
at me.
Congratulations,
So here's
Venison.
the trick. I had
No,
an aunt
because these are one
that
of the
would
big ass
complain.
cowards.
I had this aunt that had this cat, and she complained that he was around all the time. And my suggestion, which I did not actually make to her, is why don't you just stop feeding that cat?
Wait, so she was feeding the cat and complaining about the
Yes.
cat?
Yes.
That almost sounds like my uncle.
Yeah.
Total dipshit.
We've stopped giving him coffee.
Well, it's like the apartment complex I lived in Hayward. I remember you get to overhear bits and pieces of things in the laundry room every now and then. And one of the issues was there was an old guy that it probably started as feeding the cats, and it turned into feeding the raccoons, which you don't want to encourage raccoons to hang around the building. So that was something that got raised to the building management to stop this guy from feeding the raccoons. But it was just an old guy who's like, well, raccoons got to eat too. But anyways, I have one of these dilemmas. Sometimes my brain is too good for my own good.
Oh.
Well, I have a
boy.
I have a Facebook friend. His name is Bruce. He writes songs. He wrote a famous one in the 70s. He wrote a book about it. His leanings are a little further right of mine, so every now and then he's this cranky old man that I like to read rants from and think, wow, I'm not going to. And I don't reply, and I move right along. But
Did he publish any music?
oh yeah, you know the song "Moonlight Feels Right" by Starbuck?
Not really. We got to play it.
No, DMC Apocalypse. We can't play licensed music, but it was a big hit, AM hit in the 70s.
I know. Play it backwards.
OX64 saying epic song. Well, that's Bruce Blackman and his band Starbuck, and he wrote the song, and somehow I ended up crossing paths with him online. Well, I know what it was. He was writing on Amazon reviews of pirated CDs of Starbuck albums because they were out of print, not to buy them because he doesn't get any money off of them and they're a scam and they're low quality. And I wrote a reply saying, well, I'd love to buy the real deal. When's it coming out? And so then one day he sends me a message saying, hey, I saw you commented on my review on Amazon. I got a new album coming out. Would you like? And it's so at that point, I think is when I get the Facebook friend request from him, because he was Facebook friend requesting anyone he wanted to try to sell this new album to, and I bought a autographed copy, and it's cool. And now he has a unique way of writing. But his latest rant this past week was basically saying, stop sending me the Thug Life requests. I don't want your Thug Life requests. I don't know what Thug Life is. I don't want to know what Thug Life is.
It's an online game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say people, I have people that say that too, and I go, I've never seen those.
Yeah. Well, I've not seen them.
Partially because I don't link games to Facebook.
But, well, here's the thing. What I wanted to do was I wanted to reply to him saying, I can't say much about the game, but I do know a little bit about the meme Thug Life. And I'm wondering, how do you explain to an old white dude the Thug Life meme? And I thought the only way I could possibly explain this to this guy would be to show him an example. So up on the screen here is Bruce Blackman's Facebook profile picture. And this next picture I'm going to bring up is my photoshopped version of making it.
That doesn't look like venison anymore.
And this is what a Thug Life meme version of that picture would be. And I stopped and I thought for a moment, do I paste this to him and to explain what Thug Life is? And I thought to myself, old cranky white dude's going to unfriend me if I send him that. So I didn't.
I would have laughed my ass.
But you're saying it in a way to inform him of what it's about.
Yeah. Thug Life.
Thug Life, man. Thug Life. You put pixelated sunglasses badly photoshopped over the eyes, a big doobie hanging out of the mouth, and you call that Thug Life. That's the way the meme works, right? I don't know why that's funny, but I do know it is funny. I can't explain why that's funny, but it's funny. But I did not.
Or
not.
It's weird because that's what we do, right?
I did not post that to him. I don't think he'd appreciate the humor in that.
So is there a place where some of his lyrics are posted?
Well, just search Moonlight Feels Right on the internet and you'll find like lyrics or whatever, and that was his big hit. Yeah.
Well, even recent stuff is probably posted someplace.
Oh yeah, just Google Bruce Blackman, you'll find like CDs.
Damn it, does it again. If you want to improve your picture for Thug Life, you got to be carrying an AR-15.
Well, maybe we'll get that in the next Photoshop
So what
job.
I'm going for is, if there is something posted on Facebook that's interesting in his lyrics, we could just read them on the show.
We could, but
and see what people think. Are they weird? Are they funny? Are they strange? Right wing, left wing, upside down.
I've never considered his music
apocalyptic.
He just says, it's just music. It's good stuff. Okay, all right. Let's
I mean, some people jump on YouTube just to read from the Bible. Okay, if that's your thing.
All right. Let's see if I can find. I think the last album we put out was called "Is That Your Yacht," and I'm not finding the lyrics posted to it. Although there's a clip of it, but then again, it's probably licensed. Well, we're promoting it. This is free promotion, so
yeah.
Hopefully, the DMC apocalypse won't hit my. Although it's not loading. Because of course it's not.
There you go.
So this is his more recent stuff. So, anyways, that's a little sampling.
I mean, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
I was thinking that he was going to go on the line of the book that Stephen Colbert's show came out with. Whose boat is this?
Whose boat is that boat?
Have you seen that book?
I've seen that book.
Yeah, my sister-in-law bought it.
Looks like a great book.
There's not really a lot to it.
No.
I mean, that's kind of the disappointment. These guys are all former SNL stuff, and usually they beat shit to death.
Yeah.
There is a recent book from John Lithgow that includes some of his poetry, and I'm thinking that I would get that. I mean, I like John Lithgow anyway from all of it.
Yeah.
And incidentally, when we're promoting something, he has a new show. I'm not sure when it's coming out. It's on HBO, though, and I don't get that. This is where he plays the title role of Perry Mason.
Oh.
I saw this extensive trailer, and I go, that actually is interesting.
Cool.
But again, it's HBO, and I don't get HBO,
So, well.
But I do HBO just to get it. Or maybe I get on temporarily and then watch it and then cancel the service.
Yeah.
And go back to Netflix and Amazon Prime.
Those are options. They're all options.
Contracts.
Right.
They won't let you do it because of contracts.
Do what?
Get a service to HBO.
When you sign up for HBO, that's a contract?
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's why I'm not doing it.
OX64.
Yeah, so you leave early,
with
you
Netflix,
gotta pay like $300-something.
Oh, shit. Motherfuckers.
So OX64 writes in, enjoyed the stream, runs from the police. Dude, where are you writing in from? Yeah, is that serious or are you joking? Anyways.
Bad boy, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when the cops come for you?
So did you have anything that you would put on behind me if you were just going to replace the disco ball on yourself? I do like the blue colors.
I don't have
sparkly.
I don't have anything handy, but I could start looking around for what let's see if I have any interesting pictures on my computer. I got a few unlabeled pictures.
Is this disco ball something that's copyrighted?
I don't believe so.
Did you pull it off of YouTube?
No, it was just an animated GIF I pulled off of a Google image search. That's all free, right?
Okay. No.
I didn't.
But then again, they don't have the technology to.
I just saw it on the internet.
For that,
everything on the internet's free. I pay a monthly fee for that, right?
Yeah.
So that totally
just
counts.
Like everything you post on Facebook is free.
Yeah.
Oh no, they claim that they own it.
Yeah, that'll never hold up in court.
Yeah.
Every time somebody posts a question on Facebook, I says, and Mr. Zuckerberg thanks you for that.
There you go.
And I usually get a chuckle, that's all it's really meant to be.
You could put create a meme for Brian by posting words above his head and below. But I don't want to say what I was thinking because that'll get people upset.
You're talking about on me? On my face?
Yeah, on you. No, on your face. Above your head and across your chest.
Yeah, okay. So he would have to move me up a little bit so there's a gap below me. And then the background would be... Because it's a green screen. Which is fine. He can move me around.
I could, but putting text box up, I don't know. There's too much effort into just throwing a picture up behind is a simpler thing to do. I'm trying to do a show. I had to do prep work to make that happen.
I know. That's why I still don't have OBS working since XSplit won't work. Right. In fact, I goofed around with XSplit a little bit, went into Team Talk, and nope, it still doesn't recognize it. I went through and upgraded all the garbage and whatever.
Actually, I got XSplit to work on a Team Talk just earlier, except it made me upside down. But it worked. It just made me upside
Neat.
down. So, and I didn't feel like moving the couch onto the ceiling. I guess I could have just turned the camera upside down.
So each week I've been, getting online with Zoom with some friends, and each time we get on, it gets better and better and better. I mean, at first the host used the free deal, and at first couple of times, they wouldn't knock you off after 30 minutes, but then they turned that back on. So, we had one meeting where, and it runs 2 hours, where we'd get bumped off after 30 minutes. Everybody have to sign back on again and then get bumped off again. So finally, he's got a paid hosting. So we don't get bumped off anymore. And people are figuring out how to do the backgrounds under Zoom and all that stuff. And so I have this, I have this video that runs for like 30 minutes, but it's like a slideshow of pictures. Of course, when it ends, it just loops back to the beginning again. So, you'd have to be on the full 2 hours looking at every single picture and saying, oh, okay, now I see where it's repeating. Otherwise, you wouldn't notice that it's even
Right.
Oh. But, it's cool. And then one guy was just goofing around with, oh, I know, I'm going to put myself upside down. Whatever for.
Why not? Why not? Some people just want to be upside down.
Now,
And
one of the
gators.
guys on there, his connection is horrible. You would think he'd be a little bit better because he had worked for Comcast at one point. He worked for many years for AT&T / Pacific Bell. And you would think he'd have a better connection. Now, of course, he's connecting just through Wi-Fi, which means your signal strength will not be as good as if he just wired up, right?
Right.
And in fact, I was talking to the host this past weekend, in time for this next show. And I said, well, maybe we should just suggest to this guy to shut off the video when he wants to talk, because that's going to take up a lot of the bandwidth. Oh, sweet. Computer circuit picture.
Yeah, I'm well, it's just so fucking huge that
Oh, good.
I'm trying to get it to shrink down, but it's
Gators.
Stop.
what's up?
Gators,
The,
don't you dare use that phrase I sent in the chat. If you do, you own it. Just you.
okay.
Nobody else but you.
I'm not going to use any phrases that you tell me not to use.
Why can't you?
I don't
I
know.
just thought it was funny. Well, like I said, it's controversial.
Yeah, it may
Uh,
be controversial, but it's true.
I'm not going to get.
I missed the line. Can you give me a hint?
No, we're not going on that topic because
Okay.
we're here for fun.
Good.
We are here for fun.
Good.
We're not here to devolve into something that just makes everyone get pissed off.
Let me ask this, because we don't want to do that. Would Dune be offended and leave if he was listening?
Not at the first statement, but as the conversation unfolded, I think everyone would just get pissed off and leave.
And we don't want to do that.
No.
After all, how many people do we have on right now?
Like, yeah.
Okay, that's YouTube is 3. How many on the others? Twitch. Yeah, Twitch.
I'm trying. Oh, God, what the hell is my thing doing? There we go. No, I'm trying to fix this picture, but we got 3. We got no one on YouTube. Oh no, 3 on YouTube. So we got 6.
Well, one of them is me, so
That counts. That totally counts.
right. And Lulu, are you on YouTube?
No, I'm on Twitch. But I'm
Somebody
in the
has to
moderator.
watch the YouTube channel, right?
I'm in the moderator, so I don't know if that counts for anything.
Anyways, this
Fucking
is
Venison, stop!
the back of one of the racks of the
I could say the same.
RCA Mark II synthesizer. So no, these are not the
Do it on
bananas.
your own show.
It's private between you and me.
I'm not starting something. You are.
Neither am I. No, you continued it.
Tubes, man, tubes.
Oh my god.
Anyways, moving right along.
Johnny, kick him out. Kick him out.
Let's
No.
Hey.
I told us something. We discussed it. We went over it. Then you said something else.
all co-hosts matter. So let's all talk about show material and just put a pin in whatever beef is going on here. Because we're just here to hang out and be friends.
He's a fucking troll.
Okay. Yeah, he tried to troll.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, you
What
are.
you put up there,
And we're not
you
going to.
are being a troll.
We're not going to. So let's just not, okay?
No, I'm not trolling Venison. It's true.
No, it's not.
And just because you have a fucking vendetta against shit doesn't matter.
No, I don't have a vendetta against shit. But when you put something like that, it takes away from the, for the original post.
So I got my replacement motherboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so here's the thing. I'm trying to build a 486. And it's not been going good so far. Because on the one hand, I have the Toshiba laptops that have power supply issues that just give me a fucking error code about an overvoltage. And all anyone can say is there's this one page on the internet that says change that capacitor. No one could explain why that capacitor should be changed or how to test that that's even your problem or how to diagnose what the real problem is. Just, this guy 5 years ago changed that capacitor and it fixed that problem for him. So why don't you try it? And I tried that and it didn't work. And then they're all saying, well, you really need to change that capacitor. So that's a dead project. Dead, buried, whatever. Toshiba 486 laptop, big mistake. Don't buy one. You staring at something there?
I'm trying to read my screen.
Ah.
It's too small. One of these days I'm going to get a huge monitor.
Big 55-inch screen TV on your wall. There you go. So I decided, well, let's build a desktop because that'll be easier. So I ordered a bunch of parts, and I can't get them to turn on. And so I figured, well, if I'm not getting anything to turn on, I'm not getting the beep code, I probably got a dead motherboard. And the motherboard wasn't tested, and the guy takes returns. So I returned that. I buy another motherboard. The eBay auction was listed as tested as working, and even had a picture of a post screen up on the monitor that it was working. So I thought, okay, this guy's sending me a motherboard that works with a processor in it that he's tested these together, and this all works. This should be good. So I get the motherboard up on my table. I connect the power supply. I turn on the power supply. No beep code. I connect the power supply to the fan on the processor as well, and the fan spins for a little bit and then stops spinning. But if I disconnect it from the motherboard, the fan keeps spinning. So the power supply is good. But I can't. So I go back to the seller and I go, dude, you sold me a motherboard that you said tested is working. Can't even get the damn thing to post. What do you got for me? He replied back saying, well, you put RAM in it, right? You have to have RAM in that board in order for it to turn on. Now, in all my troubleshooting and all my testing, standard troubleshooting is take everything off the motherboard and you get beep codes each step of the way telling you what's missing. And then you add things one by one. I've not worked with a motherboard that would absolutely not run power even without RAM in the slots. But that's what the seller's telling me. So I put a stick of RAM in, I get the same thing. I basically say, dude, I can't even get a fucking postcode, and you say you tested this and it worked. What's the deal? And he said,
Yeah.
how about I give you half your money back and you keep the board? And I'm like, A, then I'm still out half the money, and B, I still don't have anything that's working. So how does that help me? So he gave me his phone number. We got on the phone, and he basically went around in circles saying, well, I tested it a long time ago. I don't remember which parts I tested it with, and I don't know if I tested that with that processor that's in there. I'm like, but you kept the processor in. He's like, well, I don't know if that's the same processor I tested it with. I mean, I tested it so long ago. That doesn't count as testing it. Testing something, letting it sit for like months to the point that you don't even remember you tested it, and then listing it as tested working, and you're not even sure you tested the parts together. If you can't tell me that you tested these two parts together, you can't tell me you tested all these parts. You know?
Yeah.
So even
you know what's funny.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that white Mustang, right?
Right.
When I sold it, I put an ad on Craigslist, and I posted a number of pictures. But I mixed some older pictures with new ones, because they really didn't matter, right?
Right.
It's the same car. There's no damage to it. But one person noticed that one of the picture, there's a rose bush in the background that was much smaller.
Okay.
But oops, I didn't notice that. So yeah, pointed out, hey, that's an old picture. Is the car still okay? Well, I had other pictures too that showed that it was okay, but
I see. Well, that is
kind of pointed out as a piece of humor.
That is.
But I hear what
interesting.
you're getting. You're absolutely right. He should have tested it before it went out the door. I mean, I got dinged on eBay because I sold this game for Game Boy that contained a battery, and that battery was dead, which means you can't save that battery.
Right.
I didn't test for that, and this guy, he actually zinged me, and he should have actually given me the opportunity to do anything. Now, he just zinged me, a negative score, and
Yeah,
I have to live with it.
Yeah, I've not zinged this
And
person.
he never wanted his money back or anything. He just, a comment section is not a place to get customer support.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
What
why
did you want me to do about it? You didn't even ask for anything.
That's why I reached out to the person directly and said, "Hey, what's going on here?" And what can you do to fix the situation? Anyways, we've got our first recommendation for what could we put behind Brian. And someone suggested, well, we ought to just put like a group of Asian women behind Brian. So here we go. Wait a minute. Yeah. That's there we go. There we go. I did a Google image search. That's the first thing that came up, and I have no idea who these women are, but Brian's hanging out with them.
That looks like the Korean group 21.
Okay, that'll do.
And nobody knew that I was into K-pop.
Is that what you're calling it?
I mean, I know what it is, but I'm not actually into it.
OX64 is saying yes. Hell yeah. There we go. Speaking of that, have you had a chance to play with the game that I sent you?
Well, I did post that I did do it once in a
DOS box,
and it worked. Although the image was fairly small.
You're kidding.
I want to go in and change the screen size so I can actually see it.
Yeah.
But it did seem to work, although I have no idea what I'm doing.
And
I would probably have to watch the video that tell me how to use it.
And no one that you associate with that worked in that type of industry would know anything about.
You met Carl.
I met Carl.
We went to lunch with Carl.
Yeah.
He was a former Tharco employee.
A Tharconian, as we call them.
He had worked before that. Worked for a major oil company at a refinery in California.
But you haven't talked to him in a while.
In fact, I think he's been to the one at Richmond and down in LA.
Now, did you show the software to anyone else that might have found it interesting, or was there no interest there?
Well, I told the Asian lady that that I got it.
And she was just.
And she said, "Well, I don't care. I'm upstream."
You don't care. I don't care about that.
Shall we say there is a big divide between upstream and downstream in the industry?
I don't understand what you mean by that. To me, it's all part of the industry, right? I mean, you got to sell the oil. You got to.
Oh no. Oh no. Actually, the petrochemical industry, which includes plastics, have a big deal
between what?
The different divisions, level of the process. So upstream would people that are actually at the wellhead, either looking for oil or developing.
Oh, so she has nothing to do with what happens after the fact. It's like we just get the stuff.
After it hits into the pipeline, who gives a crap?
That's someone else's stuff.
That's correct.
We get it out of the ground, we send it down there.
Almost sounds like there's a negative connotation with it. It's like, man, you're in the ghetto.
But upstream's just pulling stuff that you can't do anything with until the downstream people actually turn into something useful. So I would think that downstream people are
Well, I mean, yeah, but they're only interested in money. And of course you could say, well, upstream people, they're the only people that are drilling dry holes.
Well, there is that.
So, big goose egg. Now, in the plastics industry,
Anyways, you know what? I realize we've not mentioned what we're why we're even talking about oil industries, because basically LGR.
I don't know how you got there either.
Lazy Game Reviews recently found a copy of a game that was kind of developed in the testing phases, but not fully developed, and it was not a game. It was a inside industry game. Apparently there was a partnership with Chevron and Maxis. Maxis was the creator of SimCity 2000, SimCity 3000, the Sims, and Chevron is the, they dig the stuff out of the ground, they make it into the stuff that make the cars go. And so I guess someone thought, wouldn't it be cool if you could make a SimCity version that simulates a refinery? So it looks like a SimCity game, but you got all the components of an oil refinery built out, and it's like Sim Refinery or something like that. Was that what it's called? Sim Refinery? Yeah. And it was not fully finished. It was not fully developed, but there was this partnership between Maxis and Chevron that developed Sim Refinery, and it was like a test version. And I guess some Chevron employees still had a 3.5-inch floppy of this test version that was getting passed around between some of the employees, and it was still readable. And so he made a copy of it and posted it to the internet. And now you can all go and pretend you know how to run an oil refinery. And it does a lot of reporting and budgeting and things like that. So it's pretty dry. It's pretty boring, but it is pretty interesting.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Riveting.
Yeah. I mean, I watched the video and I was like, wow, that's cool that exists. It's cool he found it, but boy, does that look boring. I mean, it's almost as boring as this show.
Actually, I had purchased, that's what I've been looking around for. It's probably in some box.
Yeah, that's where all the women are at.
But I purchased a simulator where you're at the controls of a larger... No, not boobies. Of a large a larger water vessel. Either it's a yacht.
Uh-huh.
In fact, I think you could probably select the type of boat that you're driving.
Maybe it's a penis.
I don't think that's a watercraft.
Oh no!
So
a penis
anyway,
can be a
so
watercraft.
Yeah, you could pull it away from the dock. You could turn it around.
Oh,
Try not to hit anything.
Okay, Lulu's bored.
It was kind of cool, but there was no actual goal.
We lost Lulu.
There's no points or anything like that you could get.
Well, yeah, it's a good thing because if the goal was entertainment, then it certainly failed miserably at that. Much like we do every week here on Mondays.
Yeah.
But I got a few laughs out of Lulu, so it's okay.
You say she's gone?
No, I say she was bored. She's gone from being interested.
Oh, just virtually.
That's why she just started yelling boobies and penis. I mean, that's her way of saying change the
Of course.
topic. When Lulu wants to
course,
change
yes,
the
yes.
topic, she goes to the genitals and the anatomy. And
Okay.
What it was he talking about?
simulating driving a boat, obviously. It seemed pretty straightforward to me.
Yeah. That way,
Okay.
you would have at least potentially the skills to go get a ship's pilot's license or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bored.
Well, as we learn,
In fact, I think I had either part of it or something else where it had some tests for what they call the power squadron. Are you familiar with that?
Mm.
I mean, you got to be hardcore boater to know.
oh, Lulu, we can adjust the screens and the camera angles.
no, don't worry about it.
We could.
You don't want your viewer count to go up. What are you talking about?
I only cropped the top part of your screen. I didn't crop the bottom part of your screen.
It's okay. Okay.
Oh, so another topic just to keep people interested.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen on Netflix the program called Space Force?
I've heard
with,
bad
Steve
things.
Carell?
I've heard bad things about it.
Well, I did watch the entire first season.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got funny parts, and Malkovich is a character on it, right?
Okay.
And when you go into Wikipedia, it says, "Oh yes, Malkovich's character is a
Malkovich.
parody of Dr. Strangelove." But wait a second, Dr. Strangelove is a parody character, so how does that work?
Well, you told this one last week, but okay.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
Well,
don't remember.
I only had watched a couple of episodes at that point, but now I've watched the entire season.
Okay.
And it doesn't get better. But it did end the season on a serious cliffhanger.
So I bought some red wine.
Yes, red wine. Yes, that's a new topic.
You get red wine.
Yeah, I bought some red wine.
Please tell me more about that red wine. I so want to hear
Did
about
it come in a box?
anything that has nothing to do with what
No,
Brian's
it
talking
didn't come
about.
in a box. It was about $15 at the liquor store.
Ooh.
And it's by a rapper from California.
Oh, what area or what vineyard did it say?
It's from Napa, California.
Yeah.
Vented and bottled by Earl Stevens Selections.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Now, where did you get this? At a liquor store?
Yeah, I got it from a liquor store.
And how did you choose that?
It said sweet red wine on it. I couldn't find no Chevets at the fucking liquor store.
Some people have different methods of choosing their wine from the liquor store.
Well, I mean, this is the interesting thing is how do you choose a wine, right?
And
I wanted the Concord grape wine, but I couldn't find it on the shelves.
Yes, the Manischewitz.
And you're from California, you like a Concord grape wine.
Manischewitz.
Bitch, I have Jewish friends, and they've invited me over to Passover a couple of times,
Oh,
and I
okay.
drink that shit up.
Okay.
Well,
that explains more than I even asked for.
Manischewitz was one of the drinks of choice of Genocide Rob, former co-host of the show. And I watched him down 2 bottles of Manischewitz and a 6-pack of Mike's Hard Light, because he's watching the figure. And
this is real wine. It has a cork.
and then I watched him puke up 2 bottles of Manischewitz and a 6-pack of Mike's Hard Light.
So I was watching this
Cream White Concord.
I was watching this video from my pals of the UK that did Top Gear, and now they're on Amazon.
Yeah.
And so they've started doing videos because, hey, what the hell, you're not doing a TV show.
Right.
And they're doing the 3 screens like what we've got going, except we got a 4 still. And so they were taking callers from live
Yeah.
viewers like we do. Holy shit.
NHP
You got
Live.
professionals doing
Yeah.
what we do, right?
Right.
Anyway, so the topic was, okay, so James had vomited on the steering wheel of which make, model, and vintage, or set up, what was the word? A car, okay?
Okay.
And asked the audience this, and then they, would get answers. And then they go, okay, so then Richard Hammond, he vomited on the passenger seat of which car, make, model,
Okay.
setup, and blah, 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 blah. And then the third one was, okay, so Jeremy did not vomit in a car, but he did vomit in some object. What did he make, model, and vomit in? And of course, the first one was some car, and the second one was some car, and the third one was an aircraft, military aircraft, where you get a check ride.
Right.
And he blew up all over the place. And then he added, yes, he was interviewing with a journalist who also had done that, and this journalist claimed that he didn't vomit in the aircraft. And he basically called that guy a liar.
Okay.
And then it says, well, who is that guy? And so there are all these guesses, including people. But the answer to that was, Boris Johnson.
Okay.
Boris Johnson, current PM of the UK.
Uh-huh.
He wasn't PM at that time.
So he puked in the plane?
Well, the claim is that, yeah, he did. Boris Johnson claimed that he didn't.
So the whole point of this whole story is Boris Johnson may or may not have puked in a plane.
Right.
So we know as much now as we did at the start of the story.
That's correct.
So we
But
are
again,
all...
We went from red wine to some dude puking in a
So
plane.
we are all
Or
dumber
in a
than we were
car.
before for listening to this.
Exactly.
Yes.
But that's the kind of show that we do,
That
right?
No, that's the kind of show you do.
Yeah.
I kid. It's all good. I'm just busting your balls.
But what sort of topic did you want to discuss?
Well, I was still talking about the wine.
Yes, we all were.
Yeah, well, this exactly has to do with wine, because how did they end up puking in a car? Because they were drinking wine.
But that was too long of a story for no payoff, Brian.
And you didn't say that at the end.
I just did.
Just
Okay.
now.
Anyway, so Lulu was so happy to hear that story
Oh,
that she walked away. Maybe she had to go pee.
No, she had to go puke is what she had to do.
Let's hear and see if we can.
Where's the pipe?
So, anyways,
This deserves another couple of hits.
so meanwhile, back in my basement, I'm still working on replacing the capacitors in the 1949 TV.
Yeah,
And-
how far did you get with it since
well,
last week?
I replaced a few more capacitors, not as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I have all these, cans to replace the electrolytic can style capacitors, replace the old electrolytic can capacitors. And the first one was real easy, and it was perfect because the first one I put in, I was able to line up the negative connection to touch the chassis and make a perfect connection there, which is how that capacitor is supposed to be grounded to the chassis, and so that was perfect. Line right up, screwed in, and then soldered the two connections for the two halves of the can. Bam, that's done. And so then I go to my next can, and my next can has 4 sections, but I only need to use 3 of them. I need to use one section that's 40 microfarad and 2 sections that are 20 microfarad. And so I take pictures, I desolder things from the contacts, I get the old can out, I take the new can, put it over the hole, and the pins on the new can are spaced out much wider than on the old can, so they won't all fit nice and neatly in the hole that's on the chassis. So I have to widen the hole, and I don't have the proper tools for that, because that involves cutting metal. And it would be real painful to do with a small saw blade. Well, file would be painful because that would be a lot of
So is
metal.
it just a big open hole like this?
Well, it's a small open hole, and it's kind of
Well,
squarish, kind of
it's
rounded,
but it's an open hole.
Yeah,
You could actually get something through it.
yeah.
What I have, of course I'd have to find it, is the little nipping tool.
That's what.
Exactly to do what you're talking about.
Well, I did find something like that. Well, here's the thing. On Amazon, you have 2 choices. You could buy the cheap one for $15, or you could buy the expensive one for $200. And I might be exaggerating there.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, maybe the cheap one will work. So we'll see which is stronger, the metal on the chassis or the blade on the $15 tool. I have a feeling the chassis is going to win that battle. And speaking of winning battles, we got ourselves a battle with a glass of wine going on here right now. And now you didn't swirl it and sniff it first, though.
I did out there, and it was delicious.
Excellent. Now, how does it compare to the Manischewitz?
This one still has a bite to it.
Okay.
Is the bite good or bad?
It's easier on the back of the throat, but it still burns on the way down.
Where have I
It's
heard
not
that
too-
before? Oh, never mind.
Shut up.
And that's a bad thing or a good thing?
It's a bit of a good thing because it's a lot easier for me to drink.
Johnny, that was bad.
But the burning in the back of the throat is bad, though, right?
It's not that dry on the tongue, and it's not bitter. And what I mean by burning is usually I get like a really bad burning sensation, like around my tonsils. And then it just burns on the way down to my stomach.
That's no fun.
And that's what I don't like about reds. And this is actually the first red that I found that it burns on the way down, but it's not as bad. And it's not that rough on the back of the throat near my tonsils, so it's a bit more it's a bit more tolerable, and there's not much heaviness on the tongue.
Nice.
So it's nice. It's a
Yeah.
nice wine. I love Manischewitz because I can drink that like it's fucking grape juice.
What the hell?
Good stuff.
Right.
So I was going to tell a little story about the differences in different ways some people pick out their wines. And this is a story I think I've told many times. So stop me if I've told this too many times. But one year, this is back when me and my siblings would still buy each other Christmas gifts. And we eventually decided to stop buying each other Christmas gifts. And as my sisters put it, whenever we want something, we just buy it. So why are we wasting our times trying to find things for each other that we all don't want anyways? And so I'm like, fine, okay. But we were still buying the gifts. So I drive down to Jersey. This is why I was living in Maine at the time, I think. I might have flown out from California. I think I drove down from Maine. And I don't know a whole lot about the older of my two sisters all the time, but I do know that she likes to drink wine. And so I said, I thought, bottle of wine be a good, that's a good, respectable, standard Christmas gift. Get a nice bottle of wine, put a bow on it. There you go. Merry Christmas. Let's go get smashed. And, but I don't know what kind of wine she likes to drink. So she needed to go to the liquor store to pick up a bottle of wine as a gift for her boyfriend's mother. And, so I'm like, I'll go with you to the liquor store. And then, while I'm there, I could ask, hey, what kind of wine you like? And then she could tell me. So we're there at the liquor store. I'm like, hey, what kind of wine you like? She's like, what do you want to know? I'm like, well, I need a, Christmas gift idea for you. And she's like, well, I like, and it's a certain type of white wine. I forget what it was. But she was buying a bottle for the boyfriend's mother. And I'm like, oh, well, if you like that, and that's a good wine, I'll just buy you a bottle of that. And she goes, no, don't buy that. That's too expensive. I'm like, but that's the exact same thing you're buying for someone else. Why can't I buy that for you? No, that's... And she then reaches down to the floor underneath, like 5 shelves below this wine that we were looking at.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the higher you go on the shelf, it's more expensive.
Right.
Yes.
So the stuff on the floor is, if it ain't in a box, maybe it should be. But the stuff wasn't in a box, and it was this bottle. And she goes, oh, my God, it's Mommy's timeout. And you see like this little chair with the wine glass and the sunglasses facing a corner because Mommy needs a timeout. And she thought that was the cutest thing ever. I'm like, yeah, I get it, but no, I want to buy you a nice bottle of wine for a Christmas gift. This is, no, this is what I'm not going to, don't buy me that. That's too expensive for me. So that's, some people pick their wine based on quality and vintage of the grapes, and some people go, oh, look at the goofy label there. Yeah, so there you go.
Didn't we know somebody that bought their wine based on
You cut out there. Buy their wine based on what?
the size of the box?
I think everyone knows someone like that.
Yeah.
Well, I remember, when I would hang out with truck mechanics on the weekends to drink, that they usually drank Budweiser instead of Heineken. And the reason is because, well, Budweiser comes in 30 packs.
Aha!
If you get a case of Heineken, that's only 24 beers. You get 6 more beers when you buy the 30-pack of Bud.
I'm trying to think, is Old Milwaukee a cheap beer?
I think so.
Yeah, I think my dad would buy that by the 30-pack or whatever.
Yeah, that sounds
I
about
never
right.
put that much thought into it, but he also would drink the blended whiskeys.
Yeah.
I can't drink
Irish
that
whiskey.
garbage.
Irish whiskey.
Well, Irish whiskey is good.
Oh, yeah. Well, Brian's a big fan of
Irish.
the Irish whiskey. He has a
Sure.
bottle of Bushmills for his flask. That
Yeah,
Bushmills
I have that.
is-
Although I think that one's Bullet. I think.
No, you
I
bought
remember. It's been
Bushmills.
so long.
You bought Bushmills for the flask. I remember that.
Well, I've been buying some bourbons, and my current is Jim Beam. I like Jim Beam.
Hmm.
And hey, it's U.S. made.
I've been buying Eagle Rare lately for my bourbon to sip on.
Okay.
That's for like Old Weller 100.
Isn't Christian
stuff.
Brothers a bourbon?
Not familiar
What?
with that one.
Christian Brothers.
Well, that's a winery. Do they have a bourbon?
No, but I think they have a bourbon.
I mean, technically, a bourbon should be from either Kentucky or Tennessee.
Well, I just
It's
Googled,
mostly Kentucky.
I just Googled it, and there's a Christian Brothers Automotive Auto Repair Services. Is that
Oh
New
no, it's
Jersey?
a brandy. It's a brandy.
brand? Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
brandy. Oh, shit, yeah, brandy is
Christian
related to
Brothers
wine, so-
Brandy. There we go.
Yeah, Christian Brothers is a brandy.
I hate when wine starts to go up in price. Oh God! Had this wonderful, beautiful white Burgundy wine. To taste, as soon as you taste it, all you taste was fruity flavors. It was delicious, and the aftertaste was sweet. It went down so good, and at the time was only $29 a bottle. I went to look for it because I had to get another bottle of it. But 10 years later, I look for it again. I find this one store, the price had gone up to $68.
Whoa.
Like, yeah.
Wow.
And then, I think it was sometime back in the 2000s, I went and saw it somewhere else. It was 124.
Wow.
I was like, what the
Venison,
fuck?
you really have champagne tastes, right?
Well, I wouldn't call it that. I have good flavor taste.
Sure. Now, have
got-
you ever
I
tried
got-
any of the Cupcake brand wines?
Never even heard of them. Sorry.
I'm just surprised that it's not national, because I think it's big. And they're actually relatively inexpensive as far as wine goes, and they have a lot of different varieties. And to the thing that I like is that they have a sparkling wine or champagne that's inexpensive, that's drinkable. Because, hey, we grew up with cold duck, right? And cold duck is horrible.
Yeah, well,
Totally.
well, usually what cold duck is what you toast with as the ball drops, and by then you're so smashed that you don't notice how bad it is, right? I mean, it was.
Well, it's one of the first drinks you drink. They sneak it into, the junior prom. They have it at weddings and stuff like that. It's like, why?
Yeah,
They
I don't.
use it
Usually
are more
Thunderbird
drinkable.
or
I don't-
Mogan David.
I don't think I've ever had cold duck. I've.
Really?
not-
That was the super popular thing back in the early 70s.
I've heard of it, but I've never had it.
Yeah, I've
No,
had
it's-
it. It's not
No,
that
it's
good.
a very harsh champagne.
Huh.
It was just a name.
Andre Cold Duck Sweet Sparkling Red, $6.99 a bottle. There you go.
And it's not even expensive.
And free and free shipping. So
Okay, so look up Cupcake.
was this a sparkling wine?
Well, yeah,
Oh, I've
I
heard
would
of
I would look
Cupcake.
up Cupcake sparkling wine.
Okay, yeah, Cupcake. There's different ones. It seems to be a brand. Sparkling Rose Blend and Bush Wine by Cupcake. Cupcake Prosecco 3-pack for $10.50. $12 for the sparkling rosé. The Moscato champagne sparkling wine is $11. So it's more expensive than the cold duck, but you can get it in a can.
Yeah. Hey, that's even better.
Sparkling wine in a can? No,
Oh, who remembers champagne?
I can't.
Oh,
lie.
yeah.
That's
Who
because-
remembers champagne?
Champale?
Oh yeah. I had never had that.
Yeah, it came in a can.
Well, the thing is, you can't put champagne in a box because there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Can you imagine you'd have a round box?
Champale is a brand of malt liquor brewed with yeast more commonly used in wine fermentation to produce a beer resembling sparkling wines in taste.
Yeah.
That sentence has so many things wrong in it.
Oh, yes.
Have you seen these
It was
demonstrations where they open a bottle of champagne with a sword? And one person holds the bottle out and the other guy goes whack.
I've seen videos of that going wrong.
Oh yes, of course.
Print advertisements chiefly depicted African Americans enjoying the beverage with slogans such as "Live a little on very little." The drink was pitched as a poor man's champagne. The beer's packaging and labeled resembled that of wine. Champale is currently produced in 3 flavors: golden, pink, and extra dry.
My mother used to drink the golden. I was like, why do you drink that stuff? It's nasty.
It's still produced, apparently. This is because I say currently produced in 3 flavors.
Oh yeah, alcohol
Now,
doesn't really go
does
away.
that come with free shipping?
I'm trying to find a place that sells it, but the link
Oh,
comes
not
up.
the place you were just at.
Well, I was just on a Wikipedia page about it.
Oh. Yeah, but you had this other thing that had free shipping.
Well, I was my Google search was just showing me different retails that sell them with price tags on them. I don't know
okay.
anything.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, here we go. Handfamilycompanies.com/Champale. From Pabst Brewing Company, distributed in Lakeshore Beverage, Illinois.
Oh, Pabst.
Yeah, Pabst apparently has it now.
That's
Distribution
why.
Okay, this isn't selling me it. It's just giving me distribution location. I can't find a place to buy it. Yeah, because
But what if you just picked up something like Bevmo?
Don't
don't.
buy it.
Oh, we gotta try this though.
Oh no. Now, here's a question. What's the fanciest champagne you ever had?
Shandong.
Ooh.
And that's because I went on a winery tour of their winery. So, and they would sell it at the grocery stores in California. So I would, for New Year's, I'd buy a bottle of Shandong and drink the whole thing by myself. And man, would I have a headache the next
God,
day.
I forgot their name.
What about you, Brian?
It was just on there.
What's the fanciest sparkling champagne wine that you've?
Well, the one I like is that cupcake.
Cupcake, because it's twice as much as the cold duck.
No, because I like it. No, I mean price.
It's twice as good as cold duck if we judge by
more expensive.
Oh, damn. Remember the fucking name.
You don't remember the name of the stuff you like?
Yeah, I only had it once because, let's face it, nobody else could afford it. Yeah, the champagne that a friend of ours brought over. And we went to New York, sat on a dock, and drank this champagne. It's, no, not Morgan David. Who the fuck made that? It was very, very fancy. 1968 vintage. And it tasted fantastic. And he said that it cost about $350 a bottle.
Damn.
And we're sitting there thinking of the Otis Redding song, sitting on the dock of the bay, because we're sitting in the dock up there in Lower Manhattan, drinking this wine out of a plastic bag. That in itself just seems so wrong.
So Dune is mentioning malt duck, which sounds worse than
God, I remember that.
duck.
Oh.
Malt duck.
It is.
Introduced in 1972, this was a combination of beer and red grape juice. So like a beer wine, which sounds odd to me, but apparently it had quite a few fans. It stayed on the market through the 1980s, and in 2016, the Sprecher Brewing Company decided to bring back a new version of it, altered to appeal to contemporary taste preferences. Oh, so
boy.
So they made it actually taste good? Doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose?
I would think.
It sounds to me like the point is, hey, remember this awful taste? Now you can have it again.
Well, the current fad is all of these hard sodas.
Yeah.
And you read the description, you kind of go, okay, so who's going to buy that garbage? I was looking at one the other day, and I unfortunately I can't remember what it is, but there's all these different weird stuff. First, then there's ginger beer, and I don't even know what that is.
Well, that's ginger beer is something you mix with stuff. That's ginger beer is
It's
not.
also very world popular.
It's very good too. A ginger beer is.
Yeah, no. In fact, I tried a bottle, but I kind of go, but what is it really?
It's a sweetened, carbonated, non-alcoholic beverage. So it's kind of a ginger carbonated
Right.
drink, but
Yet it's called a beer.
it's
Which is weird.
it's typically used for mixed drinks.
But some people drink it straight, right out of the
Oh.
can or bottle.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, you can drink
It's
it.
all by the soda bottle.
You
Soda bottle.
Yeah, you can drink it straight, but it's typically used to mix drinks. I more associated
And
it
that's
with
for the person that can't afford hydroxychloroquine.
there you go. But like you,
I found out that I have a sister-in-law.
Mhm.
Hydroxychloroquine. Oh, of course, she has lupus, so it actually has been approved for usage.
so yeah. But let's see, 1.5 fluid ounces of vodka, half ounce of lime juice, ice cubes, half a cup of ginger beer, and a lime wedge for garnish is a Moscow Mule. So there's kind of your typical mixed drink that calls for a ginger beer.
Moscow Mule.
Yeah, although I think
Yeah.
it's typically
It
served.
sounds like some kind of a Twitter bot, doesn't it?
It's typically served in a copper mug, and it kind of gets frosty on the outside of the mug with the condensation because you pour it over the ice.
Aha.
I think it's usually poured over like a crushed ice in the copper
Here.
mug. Yeah, it's good
This
stuff.
guy covers it pretty well.
It's a good drink. Here, we'll play a little video here.
This episode of How to Drink is brought to you by Audible.
Oh, I
You get your
watch this
first
guy all the
audiobook
time on
free when you
YouTube.
sign up for 30
I'm not
days
gonna,
trial.
completely rip off someone else's video, but if you search for How to Drink,
Listen to an audiobook.
it's a great YouTube channel, and he does do a chapter on the Moscow Mule, and I
He does
recommend.
it pretty damn good.
Oh, he does all his videos pretty damn good. It's one of those YouTube channels that you can binge a bunch of episodes on a weekend, and it's great because you can tell that he films a lot of episodes at once. And
What's the guy's name?
How
Sorry.
to Drink is the name of the YouTube channel. And
Oh, wow.
and being that he films a lot of episodes back to back, he gets more and more drunk as filming proceeds. And so there's some episodes where he's just slurring his way through them. And it's great. It's great. But it's very well shot. He got a great, setup behind a bar, and he's got all fancy bar stuff. And, he makes the big blocks of ice that he crushes with a wooden mallet in a bag.
No,
so-
he doesn't make the blocks of ice. He gets them shipped in.
No, yeah, but the point is he has big blocks of ice, whereas me, I just
Yeah,
got a
That
nice
is-
deep tray.
He
Does
has
he actually show you how
Go-
to mix these drinks? Or
Yes.
just-
yes,
Oh, okay. That sounds cool.
and he actually makes his own drinks too, and they're themed. He does themed drinks.
Yeah,
It's
some-
so cool.
Some episodes will start with a traditional drink, and then he'll do his own spin on it, or some of them are he makes up drinks. Some of them are he makes up a version of a fictional drink. Like he did a video making up a flaming Mo, things like that. So
Yeah.
that is
Well, so I mean that's creative because
yeah.
sometimes you go to a place and they got the standard drinks, but they're even not that. Shall we say they're not even that good?
Well, I mean, things vary from place to place. I've been to some good,
Sure.
What's nice is like my friend, former co-host of the show, Gothard. Him and Mike, they're the type of people that they check out all the local restaurants and bars in the area, and so whenever we go visit them, they always know like a good place to go to get a cocktail and or to have a bite to eat or whatever. They know all the places.
And does he usually go for the specialty drink that they offer?
Oh yeah, and usually when we go there,
Yeah.
he recommends because he's tried them all. So that is cool.
Right.
I don't got the money to frequent bars that frequently, so
Right.
yeah. But yeah, there's something about going to different bars and sampling different drinks at. So, but yeah, that's a great YouTube channel. That was something I watched a lot of as I started buying bar stuff and experimenting with making mixed drinks.
Right.
Although also Bar Rescue kind of inspired me to try to get into a little bit of learning how to mix some of my own drinks, because every episode of Bar Rescue gave at least one unique drink recipe that they invented for that bar.
And that's a YouTube channel?
No, that's a TV show. I don't know what channel it's on.
Okay.
It's called Bar Rescue. It's one of these reality type shows that I feel has kind of gotten worse as the seasons go on.
Sure.
Basically, this guy, what's his name? Taffer. What's his first name? I forget. It's this guy that knows bar business, John Taffer. He's worked in the bar industry. He knows bar industries. And so if you got a bar that's failing.
Well, it's like chefs doing restaurants.
Right. It's kind of like
restaurant rescue or
it's
whatever,
like,
whatever.
yeah. What's Gordon Ramsay's show where he rescues the restaurants? Not Hell's Kitchen, but the other show he does where he
Kitchen Nightmare.
Kitchen Nightmare. It's like Kitchen Nightmares.
Yeah. I've watched a number of episodes of that.
But
it's not bad because he talks about the business and what an outfit is doing wrong.
No, you talk about Kitchen Nightmares
Although
or Bar
there
Rescue?
is a restaurant that he covered in Connecticut, and they say to this day that they're glad that Gordon Ramsay is gone because it completely destroyed their business.
Well, that's the thing. You can't completely turn around a business in a short period of time. And sometimes what they come in and assess is right, and sometimes what they come in and assess is wrong, but they're going to put together a TV episode that makes their guy look good. So a lot of times
course,
you
yeah.
find out
Right.
that most of the places that are on shows like these end up failing anyways. But bar...
Oh, no. Actually, this restaurant is still in business. Well,
Yeah. But,
who knows what happens after this?
but most of
this
the
shutdown,
places
but
that are
they have
featured,
recovered.
most places that end up on TV shows like that, they end up failing anyways.
Sure.
But Bar Rescue is John Taffer. People appeal to him to come rescue their bar. They always think that there's circumstance or something that everyone else is doing that's making their bar fail. John Taffer comes in and tells them, well, you're the reason your bar is failing. And he puts it right up to them and, beats them down, show them what they're doing
Right.
wrong, and then build them back up and does a redesign of the bar, comes up with a kind of a business plan based on the area and the needs of the area. And then has his crew come in and do some construction, and then they have a grand opening and everyone's happy. The thing is that John Taffer got known for his no-nonsense, tell-it-like-it-is, get-in-your-face attitude. And I think the first few seasons, he did it appropriately. He did it when it was needed, and then he guided them through the change and built them up. But I feel like the last few seasons I tried to watch of Bar Rescue just turned into how angry can we make this dude look? How angry can you get? How much can you scream at?
Sure.
And it just got over the top. It was the same old formula. Come in.
Sure.
You suck. You're awful.
So that's
No,
when you
you're
just
awful.
get sick of the show and you quit watching.
Yeah, I got sick of it because
Actually, I worked with a guy in Houston that he told me he had owned a bar. He and his wife had owned a bar at one point in his life.
Mhm.
And he said that the only problem was he wasn't smart enough to figure out when the bar was failing, so they ended up in bankruptcy.
And that's where a lot of these bars are. By the time John Taffer comes in, they're,
They're already a train wreck.
way in the hole. You come in, it's like, how much money do you owe? And they go with this number, and it's like, whoa, how do you get to that point? That you owe that you were making money at one point in time, you stopped making money, and it's just like, next thing you know, you're just like ridiculous, huge. How do you dig out of here? So even if you turn around and
Right.
make it profitable, you got to stay profitable a long time just to get back in the
Sure.
the black.
Sure. Yeah. So actually, there was this. So I visited some relatives in Pittsburgh, and we drove by this bar, and they would say, "Yeah, Tom, one of the relatives, Tom used to own that bar. They did okay. They just couldn't do it anymore. Took too much effort, so they turn around and sell it before it cratered.
Yeah, which is
But
what you got to do.
it was still a bar in that building. So
Someone figured out how to make it profitable, or someone is
or somebody
in
came
debt
up with
up to
money.
their eyeballs.
So how do you make a small fortune? That's the big question.
Start with a big fortune.
Exactly.
That's an old joke. That's yes. That is how you make a small fortune.
My folks would support a local community theater, and they got their name on a plaque and the whole thing as as a supporter. And my dad told that joke. Yeah, how do you make a small fortune in the theater business? Yes, start with a big fortune.
Yeah, exactly.
Same joke.
Same joke. Yeah, same joke, different day. But
it was cool. I mean, we went to a couple of shows there. It was one of these melodrama dinner theater type of things, where you have a cast that jumps on stage and do some weird stuff, try to get some audience participation. I mean, to me, that was all fun. I don't know if that, happens many places anymore. They're into this mystery stuff that, I don't really care about playing a game. I just want to eat and watch something on stage.
Right. But the point is every episode of Bar Rescue, they would put a new menu together. They would train the staff how to make the new drinks, and they'd show at least one or two recipes, and that kind of inspired me to want to learn. And then I go to YouTube to watch some mixed drink recipes.
Yeah.
And that how to drink, highly recommended.
Now, do you watch Cat on Lulu's?
Yeah.
Yeah, who does it?
Do you watch any cooking shows?
I not recently. Trying to think.
Our friend Nick really hates Bobby Flay.
Oh.
I don't know why. I've never seen him on the other things, but there is a program called Beat Bobby Flay, and it is hilarious because they bring on a couple of chefs, they do a little competition, then the winner of that competition goes against Bobby Flay, and of course the goal is to beat him.
Right.
Most of the time, Bobby Flay wins that competition, but I've seen a couple of episodes recently, which who knows when they were done, where the chef actually wins. So it's the guest chef. So that's cool. It's funny because there's a lot of trash talking, but it's all in fun. There's nothing really.
So does Nick watch this and root for the people that are going up against Bobby Flay? Is that the?
I don't know if he watches it or not. I did. I told you I talked to him a few weeks ago.
No, I was just going to ask. When have you guys talked to him?
He actually called me out of the blue.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and we had a good chat, but we didn't bring that up. I can't think of everything. I mean, how many hours do we have?
Yeah. Well, once he starts going into Dexter reruns, it's time to wrap up the call.
Yeah,
And...
right. Interestingly enough, this last conversation, he didn't even bring it up. Well, of course, that show is no longer.
It's been off the air enough for the years now that he's found another
Yeah.
topic to beat to death. Speaking of beating topics to death, though, let's change the topic.
What I would do is I'd change this topic to, if you're talking to Nick about Dexter, I says, oh, but do you watch The Walking Dead? That show is actually really good. The writing is good. The acting is good. Every once in a while, it's a zombie. Oh, they don't call them zombies ever. It's a walker.
Okay.
And it's I started watching a few episodes on Netflix after I heard, they're on season 10.
All right. Anyone else here watch
And
the show?
actually, there's a spin-off
No.
show, so
No.
they're probably in
No.
Never heard of
15
it.
seasons worth.
Brian, none of us watch this, so we don't know what else to.
Again, I don't either.
Yeah.
No, I've
Then
watched.
why
3
did you bring it up?
No, I watched 3 episodes and I go, oh no, that's actually a decent show. I expected it to be bad.
So tell
But
us
no,
more
I
about
think it's
Dexter.
I only watched 1 episode of Dexter, I think, and I go, okay, that's creepy.
I've watched no
Creepy.
episodes of Dexter, but I've heard Nick talk about it enough. I can give you the gist of it.
Oh, yeah,
I,
that's right.
oh, Lulu's looking to Dune to rescue us, I think.
Oh, you're not talking about Dexter's Lab.
No. This is new school Dexter that's now.
No, Dexter,
Yeah,
he's
we
you
know.
he murders people, but only people that had it coming. So it's all good, right?
Yeah, right.
Right.
I mean, that would be the redeeming factor, I guess.
That was a TV show back in the early 2000s.
Oh, don't say that like that was so
Oh.
long time ago.
Long ago. Well, we've been watching Boston Legal. Yeah, because we
Oh.
like the show.
Okay, we don't.
And this could tie into that briefly. Just found something interesting. PBS kind of like put this out there on January 16th.
Please tell me this doesn't have anything to do with tiger
2018.
genitals.
No.
Okay.
That's the next topic. Telepathic rape. When a man imagines being with a specific female while masturbating privately, this is now viewed as a form of sexual assault. When a man masturbates to a woman he knows in real life without her consent, that is telepathic rape. It's sick. It even affects the victim, although she may be unaware.
Say what?
Oh, as long as
Yeah, that's right. That's what I said.
That's let's get the thought police after him, right?
as long as you don't, as long as you don't tell anyone about it. I mean, long.
Right, that's right. Don't mention that on your YouTube channel.
No.
Hell no. I wouldn't mention my masturbation fantasies.
This reminds me of some parody song I heard somewhere that had like the lyrics, "I'm jerking off to your picture on the internet," which is kind of creepy. But
Tentacle porn.
there's. Thank you. That's a better topic. So tell us more about this tentacle porn that you're looking at, Lulu.
It involves tentacles.
Oh, okay. Do you have a preference to?
Like an octopus or a squid?
It's a squid in the vagina. It's like Cthulhu.
I saw a magazine about eels once.
Yeah, I saw tentacle porn a few times. I was like, wow.
Hey, guess what? We got 2 minutes left.
Wow. You
Oh, by the way,
Not to
real
change the
quick.
subject.
not to change the subject, but to change the subject.
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah,
or
real
In
quick.
that case, it would be the end the subject.
No venison.
Real quick.
No venison.
Oh, shut up. You know.
No, I'm not going to shut
I-
up. No venison.
Oh well, I saw a Twitter conversation.
No.
Oh, Jack Quipper. That was a
Nope.
person.
Nope. Nope.
Jack Quipper.
No.
And when she posted,
No. No.
we
She
don't
didn't
care
post
about your
anything.
dreams.
Nope.
We don't care
Nope.
about your dreams.
Nope.
We don't care.
No.
That sort of thing.
No.
And so I
I
said,
don't even
what
know
about
what
the
you're
one?
talking. I don't even know what you're talking about.
That's too bad.
You.
Now then.
Nope.
What are you all bringing onto my
Yeah,
show
they-
here?
Yeah, the reply was,
No,
I
there was no
replied
reply.
to them.
Don't
And
reply.
I said, what
You do
about
not
the
have
one
to
with the
reply.
circuit midget, tentacles and Lassie? And the thing that got me was he reposted it, and liked it, but
1
then
minute
said,
left.
no one cares. I thought that was kind
That's
of
right.
fun.
Nobody cares.
The circus
Only you.
midget, the tentacles, and the okay,
Nobody cares.
And
Madison.
Lassie.
and Lassie. Okay, but we do try to be educational here.
Apparently that's someone's masterpiece.
We failed miserably. So Brian, go
No,
tell us
Madison.
tell us what you didn't learn this week.
Hey, well, first of all, I'm going the wrong way. I got a new picture.
Yeah, you do.
Thanks, Jonathan.
You're welcome,
Johnny Man.
Johnny Man. Okay, I'll take it. Lulu, what have you not learned this week?
I have not learned how to not breathe.
Keep trying, you'll get there. I hear they're doing great things with Reynolds Wrap. Venison, what have you not learned this week?
Well, I don't know because you had some interesting subjects around the beginning of the show. We went off of so many tangents, I got lost. So I have
Good.
no
Lost.
idea.
Get lost.
Well,
Oh, my favorite thing on Facebook
You come with me.
is the
No,
post
I'm
that
not going with you.
says, post something, some story about how we met, but make it a lie.
okay.
So you can make up some story that, oh yeah, I met you, at some bar, blah, 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 blah.
At the blah blah bar.
Totally made up.
The blah blahs.
And I did not learn this week whether or not Boris Johnson ever puked in a plane. So, really,
Correct, because we don't really know the actual answer.
this show has been nothing but a waste of 2 hours. So normally this is where I would thank you for listening, but this is actually where I apologize for your listening. So,
Wait,
OX,
you-
YouTube only has 2 people watching now.
OX64 says I'm confused. Yeah, me too. Me too. Waste of 2 hours. That's very nice of you to say. Anyways, we need to find someone to raid, or maybe raid, or kind of raid. I don't know.
Stop. Just stop.
Just stop. Is there anyone live that we can
Stop.
raid?
No. Wait. I think there is. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold
all
on.
right.
Hold on.
Okay. Well,
Let me
we're
find someone.
we're look because none of my regular
Oh,
followers.
he's not online. Damn
Aw.
it.
But
Does
so
it-
did you like that reenactment of grab the cat?
Yeah, that was interesting. That was very
Yeah, I mean,
interesting. Grab the cat.
original was cool, but this reenactment was it was bad in a funny way.
It was bad in a funny way. That is how I would. I'm seeing channels going live that I don't know when or why or how I follow them, but that's kind of what happens when you watch Twitch finds. So I gotta see if any of these channels are anything that are
Numb the Geek.
something we want to raid. Numb the Geek. How do you spell that again?
KNUMB, the Geek.
All right, let's see if Numb the Geek is live. And if not, then we'll.
Here, no, do D&D.
Oh, yes, he is.
Do this one. Do this one.
Okay.
Do this one.
All right, I'm looking
This
at.
one. This one.
I'm looking
This
at that one.
They're doing Dungeons and Dragons, damn it.
Oh, wow.
Is that? I don't know if that is on topic, but is that okay to? Do you want to raid Dungeons and Dragons? Is
Do
that
Dungeons and Dragons.
Not really.
Fuck off, Venison.
No, fuck off you, Lulu.
okay?
Damn, chill people, chill.
All right, we're gonna raid. You know what? Numb the Geek looks like he's playing a violin, so let's go ahead and raid Numb the Geek. And
So
Good.
Venison, Venison, who do you like to have walk over your talking, me or Lulu?
You somewhat.
Okay. See, I'm a winner.
All right. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and raid.
Winner among losers.
We're gonna go ahead
The
and
lesser of two evils.
Yes.
and that's how the fight started. So we're gonna go
Yeah.
raid Dub the Geek, and
Cunts.
we're gonna go take this fight into another room, and Num won't even know what hit him. So thank you. Good night.
And thank you, Lulu.
Okay, there we go.